Hi, it's Congresswoman Jan Schakowsky here again with my plans and pans. First, let me just say how my heart is just breaking for the people of Surfside, Florida, and that tragic collapse of the building. That what we know so far for sure, 12 people dead, nearly 150 people missing. The President Biden and his wife Jill, Dr. Jill Biden, went there on Thursday. No one's better with condolences than the President of the United States, given the tragedies that he's experienced. So our prayers go out to them, and we have to get to the bottom of how such a thing could occur and to make sure that that doesn't happen anywhere else. So I wanted to tell you about a bill that just passed this week, a really important bill, the Invest in America Act, and a number of things that I am so grateful to have gotten into the legislation, and I'm hopeful that it's also going to pass in the Senate and go to the president's desk. This legislation, including lots of issues about ground transportation, has also included a good deal of carbon reduction. So we can build back better, and we can also build back greener. And I'm excited about that. But I also got some very important things for the 9th Congressional District. So far, the amount of money, if you add up the projects, is about $14 million, and it's always good to bring that home to the district. And that includes funding for improvements at the Loyola L-Stop, which of course is an important one in the district, and also funding for what we call now the DeSable Lakeshore Drive improvement. We got money finally to finish off the Skokie Valley Trail. It's had an area that has not been finished for a long time. And again, I'm hoping it passed the House, that we can pass the Senate and make sure that we finally close the gaps in the trail. And also money for PACE, the bus system in the suburbs, and some funding for a area at the US 12 and Illinois 83 junction, and that helps Mount Prospect. So it's great to be able to do those things, and we're looking forward to it. But also now, in the Invest in America Act was a very important package of bills that had to do with auto safety, something we've been trying to do for a long time. And I have to tell you, this was a really hard press conference we had to announce the bills that were in that package. A woman was there whose little boy died in a hot car. This is preventable. We have so many bells and whistles in our cars, and yet there is not a technology that has been put into cars, and we want it into all new cars, not just we have to pay a special price for a premium car, that could alert a family and even people who are standing by that there is a child, or yes, even a dog, in the back seat, because it doesn't take long for those cars to heat up. And for even on not a super hot day, to suffocate a child in the back seat. We have lost a lot of children, 1,000 since 1990, in hot cars. And we know that that technology is available. We have to get it perfected and in the cars right away. Can't wait another summer. So that bill passed out of the Invest in America Act. We also heard from my colleague Paul Tonko from New York about a tragedy that happened in a limousine. 18 people were in a limousine. They were on their way to celebrate a 30th birthday. all of them are dead. All of them. And so this legislation also deals with drunk and impaired driving, and also has to do with improving the safety features of a limousine. There were no wearing, at least, of seat belts. And 6 of those people who died were from the same family. An absolute tragedy. So there were tears at this press conference. And I think the courage of families to come and talk about what happened is really remarkable. And they have come again and again to tell their stories. But the real lesson is that thousands and thousands of these deaths that occur on our highways are preventable, or in our cars are preventable. And so I'm just so hopeful that soon, through the Senate, we're going to see these bills become law. So we had a number of bills that got passed that deal with auto safety at long last. I want to tell you about a bill that I introduced called Patriot Corporations of America. And, you know, it is not a right, but a privilege for companies to be able to contract with the federal government. And because of that, it is absolutely appropriate for us to set some ground rules for what kinds of companies that we allow. And so for one thing, we want to require that those companies pay a decent wage, a minimum of $15 an hour, and that they are at least neutral when it comes to unionization, which is, of course, a help to lift up the rights of workers, not only for good wages, for benefits, and these companies cannot interfere with, and be union busters. So we set certain things as requirements, but then we also often certain criteria for a boost in order to give a business, a corporation, a contract with the federal government. That's your taxpayer dollars that we're talking about. One is to unionize allow for unionization of your workforce, to have someone from the union on the board of directors, to have diversity at the top levels of your company, and also to say that the ratio between the CEO and the rest of your workforce, not more than 100-1 in terms of pay. And so we want to absolutely give an incentive to incentivize companies who want your taxpayer dollars to do better on the part of the workforce. Very excited. This is actually, I've introduced this many times, the Patriot Corporations of America, and I know that we've gotten some interest from colleagues that want to join in being part of it. Well, I know that many of you who are listening today have had troubles with your postal service. And actually, the 9th Congressional District has been the scene of some of the worst problems. I saw about a letter that was written on the 32nd day of not receiving mail by a constituent in Edgewater. This is unacceptable. And we managed to get an article in the Chicago Sun-Times about the latest that the Postmaster General DeJoy has put forward that will make it harder for our office to actually get your complaints to the Postal Service. It's just outrageous. What we've been doing in the past is every day that we get complaints, putting them together on an Excel sheet and sending that to the local Postal Service. And they say that they're going to get back to everyone. We've heard that doesn't always happen, but we can get back to everyone and follow up. So instead, DeJoy has said that we're going to create a system that one by one, complaints have to be registered through a special portal that goes to Washington that tells about the complaint. Takes a long time. If you have 20, 30 complaints a day, and my staff says it takes about 8 minutes, that's a day's work just to put in the complaints. But first, we have to get a designation that it's okay for us to use your information. That can be sent to us over email. That's good, electronically. But what if you can't do that? What if you don't have the capacity, even the, to do it digitally, or you don't know how to do that? Then we're supposed to send the release to you, guess how, through the mail. And then you're supposed to get it, fill it out, and send it back to us through the mail that you've been having trouble with. And then we can register your complaint. Well, we got 9 members of the Illinois delegation to say, we're not going to do it. We're going to continue to send those complaints as we have in the past locally, and then do the follow-up. It's clear that this new portal system that DeJoy said was going to make things more efficient is much more cumbersome, more bureaucratic, and less effective. It's really an outrage. So we're waiting for a reply. We're told them we're just simply not going to do that. We voted this week to create a select committee on the January 6th riot at the Capitals, the insurrection. We are doing that only because the Republicans would not vote to set up a 9/11-like commission that would be bipartisan. We're going to make this select committee bipartisan. So Speaker Pelosi was very hopeful that we get cooperation from Leader McCarthy, that he would appoint some Republicans to this select committee. Well, the word came back from him. And what he said is that any Republican, including Liz Cheney, who I think the leader was, our speaker was thinking about appointing there, any Republican who would sign up for this select committee would lose their committee assignments. Can you imagine? Would be punished for participating in this investigation. It's just horrific. We need to know that. What happened, I was at a meeting this morning with people who were in the gallery who absolutely believed that they were going to lose their lives that day on January 6th. I mean, to hear their stories, and there was a lot of crying at that meeting that we had this morning. So I am hopeful that this select committee is going to be able to address this and find out exactly what happened, who participated, etc. So yesterday was a great day because I got to go to the White House. It was the first time in 5 years, really, that I've been to the White House ever since Donald Trump was president and beyond. This was to have a bill signing because, Donald Trump reduced the methane rules, which would prevent methane gas, which is about 80 times worse for the environment than even carbon emissions. But he reduced the use of methane, and so we were there to put it back and to make it better so that there would be some restrictions on methane. Thank goodness. So I was among the people as a co-sponsor of the legislation and a member of the Energy and Commerce Committee that helped pass this, and then it passed the House of Representatives. And then we went there for the bill signing. And the really fun part was afterwards, the president was clearly in the mood for schmoozing with the members who were there, and it was really fun to be able to just talk to him. You know, you almost get the feeling that, you know, he's used to that kind of interaction with the Congress, having been in the Senate for a long time, and really welcomed the opportunity to talk to us. So I got one of the pens, and it was a great moment to be finally back into our White House, where we have a president who is just so kind. I did give him condolences for the loss of his dog, Champ, and he was really grateful. He's a dog person. I'm a dog person. I said how sorry I was at the death of Champ, and he appreciated it. So once again, a COVID update. There was a problem in Central Illinois. 80 teens and adult staffers in a camp in Central Illinois, it was in Quincy actually, were part of a COVID outbreak. And the reality is that many of the people, all of whom were eligible to get the vaccines, were not vaccinated. So once again, we're still not totally out of the woods. We have in Illinois 69% of residents who have been vaccinated. So that's good, but we still need to get more done. Governor Pritzker announced what is a $10 million package of prizes, including $3 million in scholarships for young people who get vaccinated. So we're trying to do, and the governor is trying to do everything to incentivize. But you know, the Delta variant is quickly becoming the dominant strain. And here's the good news is it seems that the current vaccines address that and people don't get sick. On the other hand, it is one of the most contagious of the viruses. So you want to make sure that you get vaccinated so that doesn't become a problem. Wanted to tell you another good news story, though, that Governor Pritzker announced an increased rate of pay for in-home caregivers. And that is really excellent because, you know, that is such an important job, but it is also often low paid and very often older women and women of color who do that work. So they will be getting an increase in pay, and they will also get an additional rate increase in January of 2022, ensuring that at least they all get $15 an hour. Nobody gets rich on that, but it's good news and it's right direction for our caregivers. So I thank you for being with me this week. Happy 4th of July. I hope that it's safe and wonderful and that you have time to be with your family and enjoy the celebration of our democracy. And I look forward myself to a happy 4th of July with my family. Thanks so much. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for watching my video. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, where my handle is @Jan Schakowsky.